Hey guys, this is Echo Sourix, and you are checking out a Mix Essentials comparison / tutorial video for ADSR. In this video, we're going to be doing a comparison between a paid channel strip of plugins on a vocal and then a completely freeware-oriented channel strip on that same vocal. So we're going to be comparing to see if the third-party plugins that cost a lot of money are worth that amount of money in comparison with these freeware plugins. Now, this tutorial will serve two purposes. I think it'll help any of you figure out struggling with the idea of, well, how much money do I have to spend on plugins? Can I get away with my DAW plugins? What about those freeware plugins that exist on the internet? And I'll probably inform you about some pretty cool freeware plugins, especially if you're a Logic and Apple user, because these were hard to find. I spent a good chunk of time trying to locate some of these plugins. All right, so what you see on the screen here, you'll see a teal blue track and a pink track. One of these tracks has a bunch of plugins on it. We'll reveal that in a second, or in a minute rather. And the track with the paid plugins, I believe the channel strip costs a little over $700 in plugins, or it has $700 worth of plugins on it. And then the freeware version, whichever one that is, it's all third-party freeware. Now, some of you guys will be watching this will be like, wait, you have plugins on your master strip. This is very, very slight. I have the sausage fattener adding 4% to the fatness, which is to boost the gain a little bit, because I do talk into Logic when I record these videos. And then also I have the Fabfilter Pro limiter, which is just giving me 1.5 decibels of gain. And I mainly have this to safeguard from doing anything really loud that would then pop or hurt your ears. So there's not a lot going on. And then we have the multimeter, which I use to kind of make sure that the overall volume of the peaks with the paid plugin channel strip was similar to the one with the freeware. All right, without further ado, let's listen to these. So I'm going to solo this and hit play.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
And again.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
And we'll listen to another chunk of audio. So here we go again. And we'll do it in reverse order. This time we'll play Mr. Pink track first.
Don't wanna watch us run out of time. 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 Don't wanna watch us run out of time.
All right, so there you go. You get the idea. Now I'm going to give you a few seconds to guess which one is in fact which, and most of you will probably get this because it is discernible to my ear at least, but it's not as far and away as obvious as I thought it would be. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. If you don't want to know yet, go back. The paid channel strip version is this green one. The freeware plugins are all on the pink track. Now there are a few instances where I think the freeware plugins just completely fail, and that's on the reverb. Finding freeware reverb that sounded good was next to impossible. It's actually hard to find paid reverb that sounds good. So let's run through the plugins that were used on the paid version. First, we have the Fabfilter Pro-Q, and I'm doing cuts and slight boosts. I'm taking out the low frequencies from the vocal and just boosting a little bit of the highs. This is a $179 plugin. Then next we have the Waves VEQ3, which is adding some analog flavor, I guess, if we would like to call it that, adding some color to the sound. This is a $149 plugin typically. Then that runs into the Native Instruments VC76 and 1176 emulation. This is $99. Then we have that going into Valhalla Vintage Verb, just to add a really small amount of plate reverb on the track itself. And that's a $50 plugin. Then we have 3 buses. One of them is running into my parallel compressor, which is the Waves VComp. It's a $149 plug. Then we have Valhalla Plate, $50 plug. And then we have a reverb plugin that is native to Logic. In hindsight, I should have used like a Fabfilter. So I could have easily gotten this up to $750, $800. Now let's listen to these one more time. So here's the green one.
Close your eyes.
And now the pink one.
Close your
So the things that I'm hearing with my ear are it's a little bit more of a rich timbre with the paid version, and the reverb is the main difference. But if we take off the reverb, let's take off the reverbs on the paid one, and we'll take off the delays as well. And now let's compare that with the pink one. So we've taken off the reverbs and delay.
Close your eye. Close your eye. Close your eye.
Okay, now they're very similar to my ear. Still a little bit, I would still lean a little bit more richer, a little bit thicker, gooey sounding maybe with the green one.
Close your.
But it's really damn close. And that's what I realized from doing this, that I would prefer moving forward, if there's ever a plugin I'm going to buy, I will think twice about buying more EQs or buying more compressors. The reverbs are the things that I would put money into, as well as delay plugins, because it was really hard to find free reverb plugins that were good. And it was really hard once I did find them to actually find ones that I could use, but actually try to get them to sound decent was really difficult. So let's run down the plugins that we have on this pink track here and these free ones, and I will include links. So the first one that I was using was a equalizer by Voxengo. It's called the Marvel GEQ. I was just using this as a way to clean up my audio. I took out the lows here. It's not a graphic equalizer like the Fabfilter is, right? But I'm essentially trying to do the same thing here. We have a cut out the low frequencies, boost some of the frequencies around 4,000, 3,000, and then boost a little bit of the highs. That's really what I could do. Now, this is a free linear phase EQ, so that is pretty cool. So let's look at the next plugin that I had on this, and this is the Sonomus Sone EQ. If you're wondering how I got this into Logic X, because I believe this is only 32-bit, I just wrapped it with a 64-bit wrapper. If you guys are curious how to do that, do a quick Google search. It's not hard. But this is adding some analog characters. It's actually a pretty nice sounding equalizer. So we'll leave that up for now. And we'll leave up this. So I have the equalizer that's cleaning it up, then my color equalizer that's adding some flavor. Now next is a compressor that I absolutely love. I don't know, I believe it's called Molot. Link will be in the description. But this is one hell of a freeware compressor. I don't know what it's even emulated after, but you can get some really cool sounds from it. And I actually really like the interface. So I could not find a emulation of a 1176 for free. So this was my counterpoint to the paid version channel strip that had the 1176 there. In the chain, I had the Molot. And I believe you can change this to Russian. Yeah, this is Russian. So Russian people do crazy stuff. So this is a pretty crazy compressor. Let's go on now. Now next was the reverb that I tried to pair with the Valhalla Vintage Verb, and it just didn't work. Valhalla is amazing. And this was the Tal reverb, and I don't like this reverb that much, and that's okay. It's freeware. The guy who does the Tal plugins, very talented guy. He makes some great stuff. This is a cool sounding reverb, but it was really hard to get a good sound on the vocals, and this is where this comparison kind of fell flat for me. Now next we have a couple of my bus sends here, and there's some cool plugins on here that I want to talk about. First we have Rough Rider by Audio Damage. This is another great compressor. This is one that I would actually include in my arsenal of plugins that I'd use mix-wise, just like with this Molot compressor. And that's saying a lot because I do have a good amount of plugins. I've been a plugin whore for many years. Now next, on bus 7, I had a plugin that probably one of my favorite plugins that I discovered in this whole process. If you guys don't have this plugin, definitely download it. It's TDR VOS Slick EQ. It is really cool. It comes with 4 different modules: American, British, German, and Soviet. I don't know what the Soviets modeled after. We all kind of know the emulations of a German EQ, a British EQ like Neve, and American, right? Well, the Soviet one has some cool character to it. And something that I really love is you can boost the high frequencies up to 40K, so it's almost like an air band equalizer. Now, I had this on a bus to do some parallel equalization to help thicken up the sound. Now, the next thing I had was another reverb plugin, and this was made by, I'm already blanking on the name. This will be in the description. KR-REVERB. It's a weird name, but it is, there it is, KR Research or K Research Reverb. And they've partnered with Computer Music Magazine to do a couple plugins, freeware plugins. Wasn't a huge fan of it. For free reverb, it was all right, I guess, but it was kind of a muddy sounding, mushy sounding reverb. And then we had this SC delay. Now this is a really cool delay plugin actually. So what we're gonna do here is let me restart it. It had the little code. So if we play the audio,
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
That's a really cool spectrum, and this is free. All you have to do is join their mailing list, and I actually really like this delay plugin. It has things like sweep, resonance, LFO, feedback time, times displayed in typical values like 16th note, 8th note, etc. And you have these two different channels, and you can
Close your eyes.
you can control the frequencies of them by moving this band around, which is a really cool idea for reverb. So my highlights from this whole process were definitely this Moloch compressor, followed by this TDR VOS Slick EQ, and then this Stagecraft SC delay. It's a pretty cool delay plugin. Before we go, I want to play, now that we've had some time for our ears to reset, I do want to show you the differences between these two channel strips without the wet plugins or the spatial plugins like the reverbs and delay. So let's turn those off for all of them. So we're going to turn off bus 8 and my bus 9 and the Tal reverb on the freeware. And let's turn off Valhalla Vintage Verb and bus 5 and bus 6. So let's listen to these.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Okay, so they're pretty similar. Now what I took away from this was actually a couple things. I'm going to question in the future whether or not I should spend a good amount of money, depending on the plugin and the manufacturer, on things like EQ and compression. Either I can probably get away with it in my DAW at this point, or I have plugins that sound pretty darn good, or I can even use these freeware plugins. But where the money, I think you get the most bang for your buck, is with the reverb plugins. If you find a reverb plugin that sounds great, if you demo it, it's worth the money because it's hard to find good sounding, realistic sounding reverb and delay plugins. And those are what add depth and space to your mix. So that's kind of what I took away from this. But is it worth a difference of $800, $750? I don't know. It's up for you guys to decide. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you like checking out this comparison video. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm Echo Soundworks. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time.